we're gathering here in Vermont because we want to tell the public, the American public, the Vermonters, that we don't agree with ICE to arrest Mahmoud Khalil, a graduate student from Columbia University who lived with his wife 8 months pregnant in Columbia University housing. And Columbia University allowed the ICE forces to come into the housing and to arrest him, to move him to Arizona. And now, at least once the judge stopped the deportation, but he is facing deportation. One, Mahmoud Khalil, he carries a green card, American residency. What does it mean? It means that he is American. The only thing different between him and any citizen over here is he's not allowed to run for an office or to vote. Beside that, he has the same right and the same duty as American citizen. Two, what is on stake here? What is the dangerous here? The dangerous is that the First Amendment that Mahmoud Khalil used because he dared to speak out is in danger. The First Amendment, which is the most important article or amendment in the Constitution, is in danger. So it is not only the Palestinian American are losing on this. Every single American is losing on this. And we're going to stand up with Mahmoud Khalil, and we're going to stand up with the First Amendment right.
Hey guys, if you guys could move over, please, for us, and just don't block our entryway.
Yeah.
Appreciate it. Thank you so much.
I'm telling her when I met you.
Yes, you know, we really want to act. Yeah.
It would have passed anywhere, to tell you the truth, if we did our job right.
Well, you know, I wish that I lived in Virginia.
Yesterday was 60 degrees.
Say something. Please let me know.
Okay, Pi, yeah. Good job, Pi. Okay, let's go ask somebody else if they need a question.
Thanks for bringing them, though. There you go. Thank you.
So my name is Safiya Jamali. I am a resident of Burlington. I live 5 minutes down the road. This sign that I'm holding was given to me by my mother. Both of my parents are journalists. I'm Bahraini American. She covered Gaza. She covered Palestine and the West Bank for much of her career, as did my father. She picked up this among many other posters. It was a collaboration between Palestinian and Italian artists. There are many more spectacular art pieces. It felt right to bring a piece. I am here to support Mahmoud. He has been detained illegally. He has a right to protest, as do we all. This war is inhumane. The suffering is extraordinary. It's incomprehensible to any of us.
Sorry.
So we can make noise.
I'm happy to do it. We got some strong contenders back there. Trust me.
Jane, so Ashley Smith. I'm part of the Vermont Coalition for Palestinian Liberation. We're here today to defend Mahmoud Khalil, who has been kidnapped, arrested, detained, sent to Chino, Louisiana, in one of the most notorious prisons in the United States and indeed the entire world. So we're here to say we will not let this happen in our country right now. So we're waiting for some of our speakers still to arrive, but as we wait for them to come, we want to chant, partially to keep ourselves warm, but also because we want the federal building right there, which is the seat of power that represents Donald Trump's administration here in Burlington, to hear us loud and clear that we want to free Mahmoud Khalil. Free Mahmoud Khalil now! 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 Free Palestine! Long live Palestine! Long live Palestine! Free Palestine! Free Palestine! Long live Palestine! Long live Palestine! Free Palestine! Free Palestine! Long live Palestine! Long live Palestine! Free Mahmoud Khalil now! 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 Free Mahmoud Khalil now!
When immigrant rights are under attack, what do you do?
Stand up, fight back!
When immigrant rights are under attack, what do we do?
Stand up, fight back!
When immigrant rights are under attack, what do we do?
Stand up, fight back!
When immigrant rights are under attack, what do we do?
Stand up, fight back!
When immigrant rights are under attack, what do we do?
Stand up, fight back!
From Palestine to Mexico, apartheid walls have got to go. From Palestine to Mexico, apartheid walls have got to go. From Palestine to Mexico, apartheid walls have got to go.
Palestine to Mexico!
Apartheid walls have got to go. From Palestine to Mexico, apartheid walls have got to go. Palestine to Mexico, apartheid walls have got to go. From Palestine to Mexico, apartheid walls have got to go. From Palestine to Mexico, apartheid walls have got to go. Sí se puede. 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 El pueblo unido jamás será vencido. 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 Anybody want to lead a chant? No! The people united will never be defeated. 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 The people united will be defeated. Free, free Palestine.
Free, free Palestine.
Long live Palestine.
Long live Palestine.
Free, free Palestine.
Free, free Palestine.
Long live Palestine.
Long live Palestine.
Free, free Palestine.
Free, free Palestine.
Long live Palestine.
Long live Palestine.
Free, free Palestine.
Free, free Palestine.
Long live Palestine.
Long live Palestine.
This is what democracy looks like.
This is what democracy looks like.
That is what autocracy looks like.
That is what autocracy looks like.
This is what democracy looks like.
This is what democracy looks like.
That is what autocracy looks like.
That is what autocracy looks like.
This is what democracy looks like.
This is what democracy looks like.
That is what autocracy looks like.
That is what autocracy looks like.
This is what democracy looks like.
This is what democracy looks like.
That is what autocracy looks like.
That is what autocracy looks like.
No Trump, no KKK, no fascist. USA, no Trump.
No KKK, no fascist.
USA.
Trump. No KKK, no
fascist.
USA.
No Trump. No KKK, no fascist. USA.
No Trump.
No KKK, no fascist. USA. No Trump. No KKK, no fascist. USA. No Trump. No KKK, no fascist. USA. No Trump. No KKK, no fascist. USA. No Trump. No KKK, no fascist. USA. No Trump. No KKK, no fascist. USA. No KKK, no fascist. USA. No Trump. No KKK, no fascist. USA.
Free Mahmoud Khalil now.
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 Free, free Palestine.
Free, free Palestine.
Long live Palestine.
Long live Palestine.
Free, free Palestine.
Free, free Palestine.
Long live Palestine.
Long live Palestine.
Free, free Palestine.
Free, free Palestine.
Long live Palestine.
Long live Palestine.
Si se puede.
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 Si se puede. Si se puede. Si se puede. Si se puede. Si se puede. Si se puede. Si se puede.
The people united will never be defeated.
The people united will never be defeated.
The people
United will never be defeated. The people united will never be defeated. The people united will never be defeated. The people united will never be defeated. The people united will never be defeated. The people united will never be defeated. The people united will never be defeated. The people united will never be defeated. This is what democracy looks like.
This is what democracy looks like.
That is what autocracy looks like.
That is what autocracy looks like.
This is what democracy looks like.
That is what democracy looks like.
That is what autocracy looks like.
That is what autocracy looks like.
This is what democracy looks like.
This is what democracy looks like.
That is what autocracy looks like.
That is what autocracy looks like.
Show them what democracy looks like.
Show them what democracy looks like.
This is what democracy looks like.
This is what democracy looks like.
That is what autocracy looks like.
education.
Money for jobs and education, not for ICE and deportation.
Money for jobs and education.
Not for jobs and education.
Not for ICE and deportation.
Not for ICE and deportation.
Money for jobs and education.
Money for jobs and education.
Not for ICE and deportation.
Not for ICE and deportation.
Money for jobs and education.
Money for jobs and education.
Not for ICE and deportation.
Not for ICE and deportation.
Money for jobs and education.
Money for jobs and education.
Not for ICE and deportation.
Not for ICE and deportation.
Money for jobs and education.
Money for jobs and education.
Not for ICE and deportation.
Not for ICE and deportation.
Money for jobs and education.
Money for jobs and education.
Not for ICE and deportation.
Not for ICE and deportation.
Thank you all for coming out today. We called this rally late last night an emergency rally to demand the immediate release of Mahmoud Khalil. And we showed up here, this emergency picket, because we know the urgency of this situation. And we know that if they can come for Mahmoud Khalil for his only crime committed being to stand in solidarity with Palestine, that they can come for any of us. And we know that we need to stand up and fight this, because this is not an attack on one individual, it is an attack on all of us.
Yes.
So we need to keep showing up, we need to keep the energy, and we need to say unwaveringly, unrelentingly, free Mahmoud Khalil now!
Free Mahmoud Khalil now!
Free Mahmoud Khalil now!
Free Mahmoud Khalil now!
We want justice, you say how?
We want justice, you say how?
Free Mahmoud Khalil now!
Free Mahmoud Khalil now!
We want justice, you say how?
We want justice, you say how?
Free Mahmoud Khalil now!
Free Mahmoud Khalil now!
Free Mahmoud Khalil now!
Free Mahmoud Khalil now!
We want justice, you say how?
We want justice, you say how?
Free Mahmoud Khalil now!
Free Mahmoud Khalil now!
Free Mahmoud Khalil now!
Free Mahmoud Khalil now!
Free Palestine!
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 No Trump! No KKK! No fascist USA!
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 No ICE! No KKK! No fascist USA!
No ICE! No KKK! No fascist USA!
No Trump! No KKK! No fascist USA!
No Trump! No KKK! No fascist USA!
And free Palestine!
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 Sisters, brothers, siblings, why are we here today? We are here to free Mahmoud Khalil. We're also here because the Trump administration has launched a class war on all of us by dividing and conquering us. And we are here to say we will not let him get away with it. The tip of Trump's war on all of us is the spear targeting Palestine and Palestine solidarity activists. His government has issued an executive order to deny student visas to foreign students who are protesting against the genocide in Palestine that Israel has been carrying out for a year and a half. The first act of that executive order was to target Mahmoud Khalil, to abduct him, to send him to Jena, Louisiana, to jail him and try and deport him out of this country.
Shame!
Luckily for us, the judges have blocked the deportation order. But he's still in jail in Jena, Louisiana. If anybody knows anything about the jail in Jena, Louisiana, it is one of the most barbaric in the world. What is the crime, the supposed crime that Mahmoud Khalil has been jailed for and is under a deportation order? The crime, quote, the crime of protesting a genocidal war. When has protesting genocide ever been a crime? The two lies that the Trump administration has used to justify this act of political imprisonment are: one, anti-Semitism, and two, terrorism. This is all lies. What was Mahmoud Khalil doing? Leading an encampment, protesting a genocide. In fact, that is in the best tradition of Jewish radicalism, of opposing genocide. That's why Jewish students at Columbia yesterday assembled and protested, demanding the freedom of Mahmoud Khalil. The second lie is that Mahmoud Khalil was supporting terrorism. In reality, he was opposing Israel's state terrorism. He was protesting for peace, an end to the occupation, and an end to the war, and an end to the genocide of the Palestinian people.
Right.
The truth is that Mahmoud Khalil is a political prisoner in the United States today.
Yes.
Let's be clear what this is a part of. This is nothing less than a new racist McCarthyism in this country. This is nothing new. It's been around since the 1950s. Why? Because as Martin Luther King said, bombs dropped abroad explode at home. War creates domestic oppression, domestic political repression. That's what Noura Erakat, the great Palestinian activist, calls the boomerang effect. The war in Gaza has come home in the form of mass political repression of the solidarity movement with Palestine, and now the imprisonment of a freedom fighter here in the United States. Let's also be clear that the Trump administration didn't start this new McCarthyism. In fact, it began under the Biden administration. It began under liberal bureaucrats like universities like UVM ordering the repression, suspension, expulsion of students. The Democrats opened the door for what Trump is now doing to Palestine solidarity activists all across the country. And in reality, the Democrats today are doing next to nothing to stop this attack on Mahmoud Khalil, the Palestine Solidarity Movement, and all of us who are under attack right now. Mahmoud Khalil called Columbia University days before he was arrested and sent to Jena, Louisiana. What did Columbia do? Absolutely nothing. They are complicit with Trump in the arrest of this political prisoner. And even when they're threatened with $400 million of funding, what are they doing? Collaborating with the Trump administration rather than resisting it. So, given that situation, we cannot look to the Democrats to protect us. We have to protect ourselves. We have to protect, defend, and liberate Mahmoud Khalil. All of us have a stake in this fight. His arrest is a threat to the Palestine solidarity movement. His arrest is a threat to immigrant rights. His arrest is a threat to workers' rights. His arrest is a threat to all our democratic rights of freedom of speech, the right to assemble, the right to protest, and the right to strike in the United States.
That's right.
Trump hopes we will sell each other out. He's banking on that. We are here today to say that we won't let anybody sell anybody else out in this country today. We know that an injury to one is an injury to all. That means the first line of attack must be our first line of defense. When anybody is attacked, we're all attacked. We will not sell anybody out. When we're under attack, we are going to unite, fight, and liberate anybody from their oppression. So we are calling on all organizations, faith communities, unions to stand with us in a fight to free Mahmoud Khalil. Because in the fight to free him, we are in a fight to free ourselves. Because his liberation is bound up with the liberation of Palestine and is bound up with our collective liberation from this regime and the tyranny that we are living under today. So free Mahmoud Khalil now. Free Mahmoud Khalil now. Free Mahmoud Khalil now. Free Mahmoud Khalil now.
Free Mahmoud Khalil now. Free Mahmoud Khalil now. Free Mahmoud Khalil now.
So we have several speakers from organizations that have been sponsoring the protests for the last year and a half against the genocide in Gaza and also building other struggles for liberation here in the United States as part of a worldwide struggle. Our first speaker is Wafiq from Vermonters for Justice in Palestine. Please give it up for Wafiq.
Assalamu alaikum. Mahmoud Khalil is a Palestinian student, graduate from Columbia University and living on the Columbia housing. Mahmoud Khalil carries a green card. It means he's resident of this country. It means he has all the right of the American citizen but voting or running for office. Why they choose Mahmoud Khalil now? It is a message to all of us. It is to scare every one of you.
We're not scared.
We are not scared, but they are coming after you. And I will tell you how they're coming after you. Mahmoud Khalil deportation is based in one crime and one crime only. Mahmoud Khalil dared to speak out. Mahmoud Khalil stood up and said no to the genocide, no to occupation, no to apartheid. That is a crime in the United States. That, if you say that, you will face deportation if you are like Mahmoud Khalil. If you are not, and you are like any American students here, your college will face investigation. 60 colleges in the United States now under investigation because one thing, this administration and the administration before it, they want to change what is the definition of anti-Semitism. They want to implement the IHRA. Our kids in college, which is supposed to be the last oasis, the front line for freedom, the front line of freedom of speech and the First Amendment. This administration killing the First Amendment, the most important thing in the Constitution. That's why they made it the first.
Yep.
That's why they made it the first. They are experiencing on us, and they are experiencing, and because I want to remind you, we are fighting here the apartheid over there that's supported by United States. That United States of America living apartheid regime. We are living under two laws. When our neighbors, our migrants, citizens, they are living under one law and the rest of the country under another law. This is apartheid. Yes. We have to stand with our migrants. Yes. Yes. And we have to keep our voice loud. Yes. And we shouldn't be afraid. No. We should stand with our students. They are in danger. Yes. Mainly our students, the Arab, Muslim, and Palestinian on F1 visa. Yes. Yes. They are in danger. Assalamu alaikum.
Free Mahmoud Khalil now!
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 Next up, we have Jill from the Vermont Asylum Assistance Program. Please give it up for Jill.
Testing. All right. I'm Jill. I use they, them pronouns, and I'm an immigration lawyer. Is this okay? Okay. I'm an immigration lawyer. I have many identities. I am a queer person, I am a non-binary person, I am a trans person, I am a disabled person, and I am a Jewish person. And I was called to this work, to using law as a tool for justice, and when justice is not possible, for harm reduction. Because I was raised in the Jewish faith, I was raised to believe that if not now, when? That is why I am ashamed of the genocide that Israel has been perpetrating in my name as an American Jew.
Yes.
Woo! As an immigration lawyer, I am terrified at how people think that the rights that are under attack right now are niche, that they don't impact everyone. This is not an immigration issue. This is a rule of law issue. There are fundamental rights at stake. Right now, every day, Vermonters are being disappeared from our communities. Shame. Moved to facilities, ICE facilities all over the country, even if we are representing them as counsel, so that we can't get access to them to help them prepare their defenses. It is not up to our immigrant communities who are most directly impacted by this moment to keep our rights alive. It is not only incumbent on our immigrant community members to learn their rights and assert their rights. We all need to be doing this together in solidarity. And there are no rights without remedies. We are here in a border zone where for too long, immigration authorities who work out of this building have been acting with impunity, violating our community members' constitutional and statutory rights. Their right to live free from discrimination, to assemble, to express themselves, to speak, to enjoy due process of law when they're facing banishment, one of the most severe forms of punishment that humans order against each other on earth. The time is now for us to shine a light on what has been going on for too long, and for us to watch, to make sure that the authorities know that we are watching, and to hold them accountable for all of the obligations and responsibilities that they owe us in a country of laws. So please, let's take this moment to stay connected, and let this be the beginning of us watching. Let's watch, and let's hold them accountable. Free Mahmoud.
When immigrant rights are under attack, what do we do? When immigrant rights are under attack, what do we do?
Stand up, fight back.
When immigrant rights are under attack, what do we do? intimidate us. Thinks that he can get away with repressing our movement. But every time he represses us, our movement grows. Look at what's happening all across the country. Mahmoud Khalil has been jailed. What have people on campuses and cities across this country done? Rallied, organized, protested in the thousands and tens of thousands all across the country. Our movement cannot be repressed. The best example of that is when J.D. Vance had the gall and temerity to come to our great state of Vermont. What happened when J.D. Vance, the vice criminal of the United States, came to Vermont? People rallied at his hotel. People rallied on the street on the way to the ski resort. People rallied on the mountain of the ski resort. People harassed him on the chairlift, so much so that he fled the state a day early. And when he went to the airport, what did he do? He met with protesters at the airport. That shows we have fight in our belly in this state. Imagine the day when Donald Trump dares come to Vermont. The kind of welcome and expulsion we will give him from the state of Vermont. Do not be intimidated. Look at all of you today. On a day's notice, we turned out large numbers of people. We are all organizers. We are the ones we have to trust to defend ourselves. We should use the courts, pressure the politicians, but we are our own best defense. Next up, we have Vivon from the Party for Socialism and Liberation.
Y'all hear me? Yeah. Good. So it's been about 2 years now that I've been fully documented. I have a U.S. passport now, and I've really made a lot of use of it. I've been in front of the camera a good amount. I've not been afraid at rallies, and that's been great. Part of what Trump is doing here, part of what the regime is doing here, is they're trying to tell people like myself that it doesn't really matter what your documentation status is, what you fought to get here. You're still under attack. But do you think I'm afraid? No. Am I afraid? No. Are you afraid? No. I'll tell you why I'm not afraid. It's because if they came for me, there'd be an army of people right here who are probably going to do something about it. Right? And that's true for everyone here. Vermont is an isolating place to live in as an immigrant, as a person of color, as a trans person, what have you. Probably maybe less as a trans person, but large compared to the rest of the state. But the truth is that when we build our communities strong, we don't have to worry about feeling unsafe anymore. We can start worrying about how we make them feel like they're under attack. Yeah. Because the truth is we have the power. Who's got the power? Yeah, we got the power. What kind of power? People power. That's the correct answer. Within, I think, 12 hours of the news of his arrest, 1 million people signed the petition to release him. Right? Mahmoud is a member of our community, and the same way that if they tried to rip me from the stage right now, you would stop them, you would rip them to shreds, you would create a body with your walls. We're going to do the same thing for him. We're a little bit physically displaced from him. So we have to resort to other means. Those means are very simple, and those are to get organized. We have a number of organizations who are going to be speaking, like Students for Justice in Palestine, Migrant Justice, Vermont Coalition for Palestinian Liberation. Good examples of ways in which the principled struggle keeps us safe. Right now, the reason that people are here is because we didn't stop fighting when it was people on the more fringe of society, the more undocumented folks who were even less a part of the community who were under attack. Now, they've got the gall to go for the leaders of the organization. They've got the gall to go for people who have full permanent legal residence, right? That's many of the people, most of the people in this audience. So I just want people to remember for a second that there is no who's next. We're all next.
That's right.
We've reached the last line, which means that our defensive struggle, which we've been waging until now, it's time for it to become an offensive struggle. And we'll do that by building. Now, I'm going to ask it again, even though I know you got the answer right before. But who's got the power?
We got the power.
What kind of power?
People power.
Who's got the power?
We got the power.
What kind of power?
People power.
That's right.
Thanks, Vermont. We are fighting about Mahmoud Khalil, but know that this fight is coming to every university, every single workplace, all across the United States. The Trump administration put out a list of 60 universities all across the country. One of them is Middlebury College. They are going to go for Middlebury College. They are going to go for the leaders of the Students for Justice in Palestine. They are next in line. What are we going to do? We are going to defend them. When they're under attack, we're under attack. We have to unite and fight against any attack on anybody. An immigrant, a refugee, a Palestinian, a worker, a trans person, a queer person, anybody who's under attack, we're all under attack. We are all Mahmoud Khalil. So when they go for Middlebury, we are going to be in Middlebury. Because we are not going to let them get away with political repression of our brothers, sisters, and siblings anywhere in Vermont, the country, and the world. And I want to introduce one of the leaders of the struggle for migrant justice here in the United States, here in Vermont. Please give it up for Picket for migrant justice. Sí se puede.
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 ¡Viva Mahmoud! Yo fui un día Mahmoud.
Not too long ago, I was Mahmoud.
En la primera administración, mi nombre es Enrique Balcázar, soy parte de la comunidad migrante aquí en el estado de Vermont.
My name is Enrique Balcázar, and I'm a member of the migrant community here in Vermont.
En marzo del 2017 fui perseguido, fui acosado por las agencias de inmigración y fui arrestado y encarcelado, puesto en cárcel por más de 10 días.
In March of 2017, I was followed, harassed, detained, and put in detention by immigration officials here in Vermont.
¿Por qué? Porque estaba defendiendo los derechos de mi comunidad, porque estábamos organizando y haciéndole el trabajo muy difícil a la administración de Trump en su primer mandato.
I was detained for more than 10 days. Why? Because we were making the first Trump administration's job really hard. We were making their job hell. We were doing the work to organize our community and stand up to the repression that we were facing.
Hoy lo estamos haciendo de nuevo y nuestro compañero Mahmoud, que hoy está detenido, es un héroe por la libertad de no solo de la comunidad migrante, la comunidad palestina, sino por todos los que nos expresamos por los derechos humanos que tenemos que defender.
And today we're doing that same work again. Our brother Mahmoud is a hero, not just for the migrant community, not just for the Palestinian community, but for all of us. Yes. All of us who are standing up and standing in solidarity and fighting back against the repression of this administration and every administration before it. Yes.
Estos momentos me llenan de mucha fuerza y me dan paz en mi corazón, en mi espíritu, porque sé que no estamos solos. Mahmoud, yo y otros que hemos sido reprimidos por alzar nuestra voz, no estamos solos y no tenemos miedo.
And these moments, like the one we're sharing right now, fill my heart, and they fill my spirit, and they give me peace. Because I know we're not alone. I know that those of
Trump no puede con los derechos humanos. Trump no puede con los derechos humanos.
Sorry, we're working on it. Trump can't keep coming for human rights.
¿Se puede o no se puede?
Sí se puede.
¡Viva Mahmoud!
¡Viva Mahmoud!
¡Viva Mahmoud!
¡Viva Mahmoud!
Thank you, Kike. We should raise up one of the chants of migrant justice and apply it to the new commander in crime, Donald Trump. Trump, escucha, estamos en la lucha. 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 For people who don't know Spanish, that means Trump, we're in the fight, just so people know. All right, one of the things that people should be aware of is we are going to have a hot spring here in Vermont. A hot spring. A hot spring of protest, a hot spring of struggle, a hot spring of resistance, a hot spring of liberation. It's the only good kind of climate change, is our struggle. And just think about what is coming up. May Day. May Day is our day. May Day is when migrant justice will be leading a picket against Hannaford, demanding that Hannaford join Milk with Dignity, so that here in our state, migrant farm workers can have human rights, live in decent housing, have good wages and benefits, and have health care protections against the dangerous conditions that are the source of milk for Hannaford and its other dairy products. So I expect all of you to rally like we're rallying today for Mahmoud Khalil, to rally for migrant justice and the migrant farm workers of our state on May Day. Be there. Si se puede. Si se puede. Si se puede. All right, next up we have a very important speaker. Think about what Donald Trump, Joe Biden, the two parties that have backed this genocidal war in Palestine have done. They've tried to tarnish our resistance, our opposition to genocide as anti-Semitic. But one of the amazing developments has been the mass growth of Jewish Voice for Peace, of Jews who say, not in my name, never again, not today, not ever. So please give it up for Sasha from Jewish Voice for Peace.
Mahmoud was disappeared because of the false narrative that his very existence makes Jewish people unsafe. And giving humanity and rights and self-determination to Palestinians does not make Jewish people unsafe. Our safety is intertwined and our solidarity is wrapped up in each other's solidarity. I'm going to read a post that SJP made earlier about the twisting of the Jewish faith into the partner of fascism, since Nazism and Zionism are fascism. And we're seeing this on a global scale, the U.S. supporting fascism in our own country and fascism through the form of Zionism.
Thank you very much.
The rationale for Khalil's arrest, the narrative that Palestine solidarity is a threat to Jewish people, is in fact a perverse expression of a concentrated, century-long effort by every facet of the Zionist movement to integrate Judaism into the state apparatus of imperialism and colonialism. It is a past time to name it. The Zionist movement has hijacked Jewish identity and is holding it as a means to protect the Zionist project of genocidal expansion. As Zionist foot soldiers in Palestine carved the Star of David into the skin of Palestinian prisoners, as IOF tanks vandalized disseminated Palestinian land with Jewish symbols, as Palestinian families are evicted from their own neighborhoods in the name of securing a Jewish state, the onus has somehow remained on Palestinians to separate Judaism from their oppression. now, as Trump uses Hebrew phrases to announce forced disappearance of political descendants, it is time for all of us, especially progressive Jewish movements, to intentionally, relentlessly, and uncompromisingly name and fight the root of this backwards marriage between Judaism and fascism, Zionism. Thank you.
Give it up for Sasha! One of the great obscenities right now is for the Zionists to link arms with Donald Trump, J.D. Vance, Steve Bannon, and Elon Musk. Think about what those people are doing. Those people are embracing the far right, who are the main anti-Semites in the world today. J.D. Vance called for a vote for AfD in Germany. That is a racist, anti-Semitic, anti-Arab, disgusting, far-right, quasi-fascist organization. A political party that is very highly polling in the elections. So the idea that Zionists see Trump, J.D. Vance, Elon Musk, and Steve Bannon as their allies is literally insane. They are promulgating anti-Semitism all around the world. Our movement, by contrast, has Jews, Palestinians, Christians, atheists, all united against genocide. We are the main opponents of racism and anti-Semitism in all its forms. And the people on the other side are the defenders of racism and homophobia, anti-Semitism, all the bigotry of our world. Don't believe it? Look who's giving the Hitler salutes today. Elon Musk and Steve Bannon. The idea that they're protectors of Jews is insane. Our movement for collective liberation is the route to freedom and equality between all peoples. We are the main opponents of racism and anti-Semitism in the world today. So next up, we have James from Students for Justice in Palestine up at the University of Vermont. I want to underscore how important their struggle is at UVM, because they have faced an administration that tried to repress their encampment, that tried to threaten expulsions, that suspended them for almost a year from their right to meet and organize. Now they're back on campus. Now they're free to organize. Now they're free to stand up and fight for Palestinian liberation. Give it up for James.
Free Mahmoud Khalil now! 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 Thank you, everybody. I'm speaking to you as a student on behalf of Students for Justice in Palestine. We are students just like Mahmoud. We are just like Mahmoud, and you are just like Mahmoud. Yeah. And we have committed the same crime as Mahmoud, to stand in solidarity and stand in struggle with the Palestinian people as they resist this US-backed genocide. Is that a crime? No! Well, it might be now. And that is a crime that I proudly commit, and that you all should proudly commit, and that we will never stop committing until Palestine is free. And they label us as agitators, as thugs, as villains. But now this is a fight that they have brought to us. And I say, bring it on! And we have to understand that Khalil's arrest is inseparable from the genocide he was arrested for fighting. It is not just a question of free speech. It is not just a question of immigration law. It is a question of a genocidal empire protecting its interests by attempting to quell dissent against the ethnic cleansing of an entire people. And the forced disappearance of political dissidents by the US in violation of its own legal framework is only an extension of the same routine US-backed violence that Israel commits daily against the Palestinian people. And we have to understand this, because we must understand that as long as we are being repressed and as long as the Palestinian people are being repressed, we have no right to relent. We have no right to stop. We have no right to rest. And we have no right to end our struggle until Palestine is free. And we have to look to the strength of the Palestinian people who have endured what Mahmoud Khalil is enduring every day, times 10, for the past 78 years. And we have to know that surrender is not an option, and we cannot be cowed by fear in this moment. Because when you are oppressed, the only option you have is to fight. And that's what the Palestinian people are doing. They're fighting for their freedom. Mandela did the same thing. Fred Hampton did the same thing. The Black Panthers did the same thing. We must do the same thing. When you are oppressed, you only have one option: to confront the enemy. And we must name our enemy. It is Zionism, it is fascism, and it is the unholy marriage between the two of them. And we have to understand that Zionism is the tip of the spear for fascism in the United States. And the repression against the Palestine Solidarity Movement is the lab for the tools that will be used against all of you if you fail to act. So we are at the precipice. We all need to show up to demand the immediate release of Mahmoud Khalil. We showed up today, we need to keep showing up. We need to come back stronger, we need to come back bigger, and we need to do more than rallies. And we must not stop once we secure the freedom of Mahmoud Khalil, and we will secure it. We cannot stop there. The coming weeks, the coming months, the coming years, we have to see the realization of our collective struggle and the formation of alliances, of coalitions, of a broad, unified movement to fight against this fascist onslaught. We need broad unity between the working class, between anti-racist and anti-imperialist struggles, and we need to build real material power and resistance through solidarity from below. We have to settle our quarrels and we have to come together and realize that fascism is here. It's here. People are already dying who may be saved, as George Jackson said, and many more will die if we fail to act. So we need to build our community defense, and we need to unite against our complicit institutions, and we need to confront our historic responsibility here with the urgency and the dedication that it needs. That is our job. So thank you all for coming out, but keep coming back, and you need to get organized. We cannot just mobilize. We need to ask ourselves, what can we do that they cannot ignore? Because they can wait for us to leave today, but if they know that we're going to keep coming back, and if we're going to do more than rally, and we're going to do things that they can't ignore, if we're going to shut shit down, then they have to listen to us. So we say today, until Mahmoud Khalil is free, free Mahmoud Khalil! Free Mahmoud Khalil! Free Mahmoud Khalil! Free Mahmoud Khalil! Free, free Palestine! Free, free Palestine! Free, free, free Palestine! Free, free, free Palestine! Free, free Palestine! Free, free Palestine! Free, free, free Palestine! Free, free, free Palestine! Thank you. Solidarity!
I talked about the climate change that's coming this spring, of protest, resistance, and struggle. One of the most important forces of that struggle against what's being done to Palestinians, what's being done to our democracy, is the U.S. labor movement. That's what May Day is also about. The Chicago Teachers Union has invited locals from across the country to come to Chicago this next week to talk about organizing political actions by unions, even potential strikes against the Trump administration. When workers begin to exert their power, then we're talking about real power to challenge the Trump administration, to challenge the bosses that run this country, only to make profit at our expense. That's right. We are the majority if we're organized. And that's what James was talking about. If you're not organized, you are powerless. If you're not a member of an organization, join one. If your workplace is not unionized, unionize it. And then begin to talk about how you can organize for the power to strike, to really win things, not only on economic demands, but political demands, like freeing Mahmoud Khalil. Next up, we have Elizabeth, who's a member of the UVM Staff United, a member of the union up at UVM. Please give it up for Elizabeth. Also a member of Labor for Palestine.
Hi everyone. Like Ashley said, my name is Elizabeth. I am a member of UVM Staff United. I am also I'm also a member of Vermont Labor for Palestine and a member of Staff United Palestine Solidarity Caucus. We work alongside United Academics Palestine Solidarity Caucus to really make sure that Palestine is a central labor issue on our campus. This genocide has also been marked by the countless destruction of universities in Gaza, the death of our fellow faculty, staff, and students in Gaza. There are no more universities. It is a scholasticide.
That's right.
This is incredibly important to organize on campuses, especially now that we know Middlebury was on that list of 60 colleges. We need to stand in solidarity. We need to make sure that we are standing with each other regardless of the university that we are a part of. And if you are in a union, get organized and get in Palestine Solidarity Caucus. Thank you.
Elizabeth just talked about scholasticide. This cannot be exaggerated. What has been done to Gaza is a deliberate cultural genocide. The destruction of libraries, the destruction of every single university, the bombing of schools, the bombing of mosques, the eradication of the institutions that reproduce Palestinian resistance. That's what they're trying to do. Both Biden and now Trump. But the Palestinian people resist despite that in Gaza, continuing to rally in opposition to the attempt of Israel to ethnically cleanse Gaza. People in Palestine are saying no, and we're here to say no in solidarity with them. That scholasticide is also coming here to the United States. Look at what the Trump administration is doing. They cut off $400 million in funding to Columbia. UVM has already put a suspension on hiring new staff and faculty. Every single college and university is dependent on federal aid, not only for student loans, but also for the sustenance of science research, the sustenance of cultural programs. Trump is trying to eradicate that because he sees the left has got a toehold in these institutions and he wants to go after the left. So scholasticide abroad means scholasticide at home. That's why the struggle in Palestine is our struggle. The liberation of Palestine is our liberation. So we have to continue the struggle to free Mahmoud Khalil. People should go back to their workplace and talk about it. Bring people to the next meeting of the Vermont Coalition for Palestinian Liberation. Get them organized because we have to build this resistance. Nobody's talked about it, but I want to celebrate it. We are making massive gains here in Vermont for Palestine. 5 towns and cities voted for the Apartheid-Free Communities Resolution. That means they condemn the state of Israel, condemn its apartheid, and want to disconnect from any collaboration with the state of Israel. That is a huge victory. In Winooski, which is the most diverse town in the state, 72% of Winooski voted to become apartheid-free. The people of Vermont are rallying to our call to oppose Israeli apartheid, and our opponents are terrified of that. Because we are the majority. We are the majority. The people can win here in Vermont and in Palestine. That's why the new city council comes in at Burlington, which blocked our right in Burlington from being able to vote to become apartheid-free. We have to turn out to the new city council and promise we are bringing apartheid-free community resolution back to Burlington. We are going to petition, we are going to rally, and we will not let Ali Schachter, who is one of the leaders of the Shalom Alliance, one of the most racist organizations in this state, hardcore Zionist, who attacked every city councilor who wore a keffiyeh in solidarity with Palestine as an anti-Semite. We will not let her rule in the city council in peace. We are going to do the petition, and we are going to force Burlington to put apartheid-free on the ballot so we can vote to be an apartheid-free community just like our sister city in Winooski. So everybody, leave here today organized, leave here today inspired, and leave here today ready to fight to free. Make sure we're organized to fight for Mahmoud Khalil to become a free man, ready to return and continue the struggle to free Palestine. Free Mahmoud Khalil now! 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 The people united will never be defeated. 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 Thanks everybody for coming out today. Free Mahmoud Khalil now. Come to the next meeting, get organized, join a group, join a union, build the fight. Let's make May Day hot as hell here in Vermont.